What's up everyone? My name is Andrew and this is the most versatile lens in my bag. If I was stranded on an island, let's just say the island of Manhattan, and I was forced to shoot with only one lens for the rest of my photographic career, this is the lens that I would choose. This is the 24-70 f2.8 Canon lens. Now, there's a variety of different reasons for why I think this might be the best lens choice, especially if you're just starting out in photography. So let's get into the reasons. First and foremost, it is a zoom lens. So unlike a fixed lens where it's only one focal length, you can get a lot of range from standing just in one place. You don't have to move in order to capture more of a wide angle scene or a close-up portrait. You know, some people might say that this lens is a little bit too distorted for if you're taking pictures of people. But in terms of what I shoot a lot of fashion. So for me, I kind of like a little bit of distortion, especially if I'm shooting a full body photo of somebody, because it does sort of lengthen the person's legs. It sort of stretches them out just a little bit without it looking crazy. And I feel like it kind of gives the photos a cool editorial fashion feel. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I like it. So you can see in these different images how there is a little bit of distortion, but it's not so much distortion that the pictures look crazy. It's just a little bit to give it kind of a cool, creative, editorial look to it. But it is worthwhile to note that if you're trying to shoot something like product or artwork or something that really needs to be exact, that this might not be the best lens choice unless you're using it all the way zoomed in. Another great thing about this lens is that its lowest aperture is a 2.8. So it's not as low as like a 50mm 1.2 lens would be, where you really get that dramatic fall off with the bokeh in the background. But it does have enough separation that when you're taking a portrait of somebody, especially if you zoom the lens in, you will get that nice fall off. And even when you're taking full body pictures, you do still notice a nice fall off behind your subject, which I appreciate. This is a really sharp lens. It has really nice glass. It's quick to focus, and it also has internal stabilization, which is great for video. So if you're someone that shoots a lot of video, clicking that internal stabilization on is gonna make your videos much smoother and easier for you to just hand hold your camera without it looking crazy wobbly and wonky. It's really important when using this lens to know that your zoom level is going to determine how natural your subject looks in the photos. And what I mean by that is that if you have the camera all the way zoomed out, when you step closer to your subject, it will distort them more than you would necessarily want. So if you're zooming the camera in and taking a portrait, you're gonna get an image that's more true to life and looks more accurate in terms of the proportions of that person's face. Here's an example of what I mean. So I shot these photos of Evan, and the photo on the left is showing I was standing about 3 feet away from him, and I had the camera pretty zoomed out, and you can see the distortion with his head, and just the shape of his face doesn't really look quite right. With the photo on the right, I'd stepped back a couple feet and zoomed in order to capture roughly that same image of him. So you can really see there's a big difference between these two photos in just how natural and true to form the camera makes the person's face and features look, depending on your zoom level. Another thing that's important to know with the zoom level is that you can feasibly exclude certain elements of the scene that you might not want to show in your photo just by zooming in more. So with these two photos, I was shooting it from about the knees up, and I wanted to include the majority of Evan's body in the shot. At first, on the left, I was standing 3 feet away from him, zoomed all the way out in order to be able to capture all the way down to his knees. By doing that, you can see there's a lot of the floor, there's a lot of the wall, there's also a lot more vignetting going on in the photo on the corners, whereas on the right-hand side, when I stepped further back and then zoomed in, I was still able to capture Evan from the knees, but now as I'm zooming in on him, I'm only seeing the wall behind him. So it's nice because you can sort of eliminate some of those distracting elements that you might not want. And by zooming in, you're getting something that's a little bit more true to life in terms of proportions. As far as pricing goes for these lenses, it depends obviously on the make of the lens, but in terms of specifically Canon, I've seen this lens for sale used or refurbished as low as like 400, 500, 600, all the way up to like 1200 when they're new, between 1200 and 1800 or 2000. So the range is pretty vast with this lens. Even though the price is pretty steep, I would say it's definitely worth the investment. It's just such a versatile lens. It's gonna be an amazing tool in your kit. And for just starting out, if you don't have any other lenses, the lowest aperture is pretty decent. It has the most versatility in terms of being able to capture a wide angle scene and a portrait. It's sharp, it's quick to focus, and it's just great for a variety of different scenarios. So with all those different factors, that is why I think the 24-70 is the most versatile lens in my bag. If you want to know more about other lenses I use or have questions about lenses, make sure to drop a comment below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Also, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this coming your way. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. How do people sign off on these videos? I just don't even know what to say at this point. Like, thanks for watching. Bye. I guess that's it. Key lime LaCroix. I don't know if you're a LaCroix stan or not, but key lime, this is my favorite flavor. I don't know why, it's just better than the normal lime. It's good. I recommend it. My eyes do water sometimes when I drink sparkling water though. Ooh.